Afternoon, everyone. Folks, we're going to start in about 5 minutes. If you want to go grab yourself a drink from the bar or grab a seat, I think in about 5 minutes or so. So if you'd like to grab a drink, get yourself comfortable. About 5 minutes, we'll start. We can still play music during the time.
when we like play a video.
You told me once, so I put it in my back pocket.
Well, I thought you would feel it.
Oh, that's really
When we play a video, can you like run over here and like turn it? Yeah.
You can do it? Yeah, of course. I'm Lila. Nice to hear some nice things about you. Thank you. Okay, Lila. So you can zoom in if you need to, and then when it's time with the video, okay. She's got how many people? 94 people logged on. Wow. So do you want me to wait here? Yeah, you can. Whatever you want.
Are we playing a video right now?
No, so like after I turn off the video, is it going to be a long video? Like I should go back and sit down?
Five.
And then turn it back there.
It's just like filming me. So
Right.
you're not
Okay,
going.
yeah, okay. I appreciate over 10 minutes.
You got it.
Okay.
You're right.
Are you taking care of this?
She's gonna take care of me.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
I am. Does this thing move?
It's like my stand. I would pick it
But
up.
like-
I
Can you
don't
move
touch
it?
it.
No, you
Does it
can't.
go
You
up
just
to-
do this.
I would
But
just.
does
Is it live
face
right
the
now?
camera?
Yes.
You walk
Stop
right
touching
into
it.
it. Does it go up to the camera?
Like I would zoom out
To what?
to see the screen.
Oh my God.
Sit here.
Are you?
Because they call
Where
them
is she sitting?
as I pull their also
There we go.
of course. Oh my god. Like I've never He's like
No.
my own mouth's not but as soon as I walk in they go, there's Lila.
Oh man. Havoc.
I was like, oh.
I know they're judging, but it's okay.
But it's when you're not driving out.
What is that?
I don't even know. I think it's a mistake. I'm also sweating. Stop right now.
Really? I was
I'm not. I'm like cold sweating, and it's only 1 hour, and I'm pissed off. So I wanted to go home and change. Yeah. Right? I can't do that.
When do I come?
But when we see like we have a video. When he says like we have a video.
Can I get up?
Yeah, you're gonna get up and turn. Sorry, that's such an issue.
Have the program, so I'll have to like get a license. You know how you get a license? Oh, okay.
I just. I don't know who she's talking to. But I'll just tell you something. We have a video and there's pictures and stuff, right? One of the pictures we have a video of your kid. And at first I was like, who's this? But now I know. No, it was on the stairs or something. But now I know, right? Because your mom was there. Now you're home. If you're home.
Can I go in?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Just a quick housekeeping thing. We have a book at the front. If you haven't already, sign in. Register. Please do so. And with that, on behalf of Amanda, Rebecca, John, Bruce, and Jackson, thank you for being here to celebrate the extraordinary life of Anita Wright. Looking around, I see so many faces touched by Anita's incredible spirit. And that's truly what today is all about, celebrating the vibrant, hilarious, and utterly unforgettable person Anita was. We're happy to welcome a few people that have traveled quite a distance to be here. Notably Teresa from BC, Holly and Jordan from Cornwall. And there's some others that have traveled, and we'd just like to thank everyone for making it here to join us today. For those who don't know me, my name is Steve, and I had the absolute privilege of being Anita's friend and neighbor. My wife Mary and I had a special bond with Anita. We did things together in our community, great conversation, and she had incredible parties. It was her creative genius that led to many handicrafted traditions that are now ongoing. If you didn't already know, today would have been Anita's 78th birthday, so we're also here to celebrate that. What we would sure Shall we do a toast for Anita's birthday right now? Raise a glass. Knowing how Anita loved a good celebration, we all agree she would have us doing something creative to celebrate. You'll notice a piece of paper on your table. Please try your hand at how well do I know Anita? When you're done, put it in the box provided, and the winner will be selected anyway. Anita, as many of you know, wasn't just a friend or a nature, she was a force of nature. She was the kind of person who could effortlessly market our lakeside egg hunt and then, without missing a beat, convince us all to join in the latest social media trend. I mean, who else could pull off a mannequin challenge, progressive dinners, or a cake flip with a grace, all while probably thinking of her next cake design? Her TikTok channel, Tasty Entertaining, where she was affectionately known as TikTok Nana, was a true testament to her boundless creativity, her ability to bring joy to hundreds of thousands of followers, whether through her incredible cake decorating, her acrylic pipe art, or just her wonderfully authentic self. It was also a way that we could stay connected with Anita after she moved from Ajax to BC, which we greatly appreciate. Beyond the fun and games, Anita possessed a strength that was truly awe-inspiring. She faced her battle with cancer with incredible courage and grace. She chose to live her final chapter on her own terms, a decision that speaks volumes about her incredible resolve. That strength, that determination, was part of everything she did, from her incredible creative side to her unwavering positivity in the face of immense challenges. Today, we gather not to mourn her passing, but to celebrate the many memories she wove into our lives. We'll laugh, we'll share stories, maybe even attempt a TikTok dance in her honor. We have some friends lined up today to share their memories of Anita, and after that, the floor will be open for anyone who feels moved to share a story, a laugh, or a moment that made Anita, Anita. At this time, I'd like to ask Judy to come up to share her memories.
First of all, I'm totally overwhelmed. I thought this was going to be a little affair. I should have known better from Anita. Anyway, when Amanda and Rebecca asked me if I would speak, I said sure. I didn't think anything of it. Actually, I didn't. But and I think about a week ago or something, Amanda said, well, we're just getting our schedules organized, and Rebecca and I are still organizing our speech. And I thought, holy crap, a speech? Are you serious? I wasn't expecting to do that, so I did very quickly write some notes. Oh, you were very smart doing yours in giant type. Wow. When you said speech, one thing came to mind, and this doesn't have anything to do with the story, I just thought of it on the way here. I wrote a speech, or I wrote speaking notes for Anita once, and I think we were doing shapes or something, and she got up, and she said, "Hello, everybody. My notes say here that I'm supposed to introduce my elf. I don't know who the hell my elf is, but Judy said I'm supposed to introduce my elf." And I'm thinking, what the hell is she talking about? Well, she showed me I made a typo. I said, "Anita, don't forget to introduce yourself." So that was so Anita. And after that, she always introduced her elf. Okay, I'm going to try and get through this. So I met Anita, I think in about 1985. I had just started a typesetting marketing company, and Anita had started Right Impressions, I think, by then. When I started my company, somebody, a mutual friend, I think Sandra Bradbury, said, I have somebody that you could probably, do work for. So I went to see Anita in the Markham office, and my first impressions were, I was totally confused. Who the hell are all these people? There were young people, there were medium people, there were older people, it was in a front office, in a house, and everybody's walking around with glasses of wine. Of course, eventually I got to meet everybody and realized that 3 of them were her adult children. One was Bob, who eventually she married, and I think there was an accountant there too, an older lady, right? Anyway, so I went there lots of times. We did a lot of work together, and we got to know each other, and we did an awful lot of chatting, and we found that we had an enormous amount in common, a lot of similarities. We were both very, very young mothers. We had our children in 19, 20-year-olds. Rebecca and her youngest, and my youngest, Alexander, their birthdays are August 18th. And I think that was the first time and I think you're a year apart. I think that was the first time we actually got together socially, was for your birthday, your 16th or something. Anyway, it turned out that we were both young moms, we had lots in common, but we also often laughed about the fact that neither one of us had a university education, and yet we were both successful. And we talked about how we probably invented the fake it until you can make it scenario, because we realized that we had both sort of lied and faked our way into a number of jobs, and then thought, oh, hope I can do this, and we both could. So we also both came from, I think I can say, odd, slightly dysfunctional families from our parents. She came from England, I was born in Hungary. So we have a lot of similarities, but there were a lot of differences as well. So in some ways, maybe it's surprising that we did become as good friends as we did. Anita was a shopper. I am not. I'm not shopping. Anita lived large, as this shows, right? She loved this. I am not like that. I was always amazed at the books she hadn't read. She wasn't a big reader. But she used to accuse me of living under a rock, because I have absolutely no understanding of pop culture. I think once she referenced a book called Twilight or something, and I said, what the hell was that? She's, I can't believe you don't know that. Anyway, her idea of a great vacation, I think I'm not mistaken in saying it was a 5-star hotel with a pool and lots of wine and air conditioning. My husband and I traveled the world. We slept in caves and tents, and we hiked and we biked, and she always thought that was a gas. Can you imagine sleeping in a tent? Not if they don't have wine. And as much as she mocked our lifestyle and I mocked her lifestyle, she was super generous and always being in awe of the things we did, always asking about our trips, where we went, what we did. She often suggested that we join, what was it called, the Great American Race. She said, I'm going to sign you guys up for that. Thank God she never did. To be fair, I don't mean it to sound like she wasn't fit. She was a fantastic rollerblader. I think I just gave away one of the answers on your questionnaire. Circling quick. Kickboxer. She even tried running, didn't love it. Skated, I understand. She was a skater before she was so she was fit. She was definitely fit, but it just wasn't what she was into. Everybody will talk about all the things that she excelled at, whether it was baking or cake decorating or making centerpieces. There wasn't anything that she couldn't do. I'm going to talk mostly about our relationship and how it changed my life. So, I think we even made plastic flowers one time, did we not? Emo stuff, jewelry, all kinds of bizarre things. There was always something going on. Anyway, so as I said, one thing led to another, and we started to socialize, the four of us. Her husband, Bob, younger than her, my husband, George, older than me. And despite the fact that there was sort of 20 years difference between the guys, they were both fun-loving and ready and willing to do anything. So we had lots of fun, the four of us together. Dinners, walks. I was always intimidated having them over for dinner because I could never be as Martha Stewart-esque as Anita. I would panic what kind of centerpiece to make or whatever. Of course, many of you will know about all the parties before and after that Anita had, her birthday parties, toga parties. I remember she rented 4 or 5 limos. We ran all over Markham, wasn't it? Doing a scavenger hunt, a black wedding, which was the bizarrest thing. So it's one of my best social stories because people will always say, tell them about that black wedding you went to one time. Surprise wedding. Costumes, decorations, memorable black wedding, murder mysteries, Christmas parties. Anita was always so effusive and like I said, lived large and generous. And her Christmas parties, wasn't like little trinkets and trash. She'd give away like great big stuffed animals. We'd still bring them out at Christmas. All kinds of other events. Of course, she was never satisfied with one tree. We usually had 3 or 4 at least, right? Decorated in different themes. She sucked us into her universe, but we tried to do the same sometimes with her. And my best memory of trying to get her into our universe was taking them skiing one time, which Rebecca will remember. It was a memorable weekend. We had a house down, a chalet down in Holiday Valley. And Anita's one and only attempt at skiing was coming down the baby hill backwards. Spun around, came down backwards with her bum up in the air, came into the chalet and said, I like the skiing thing, I'm going to be a snow bunny. And she spent the rest of the time in the chalet with a glass of wine. Okay, what was it about Anita? Why is it that not only us, but all the people that were sort of in that universe, the best way I could describe it was that she had a star quality. She really had this sort of star quality that attracted people. It was her effervescent personality, her kindness, and her largesse, which, again, as many of you know from a charitable perspective, people just sort of stuck to Anita like glue. So we continued to work and play together. I eventually folded my business. She eventually sort of folded her business. I won't go into the details of that. We eventually started a company together called Shapes. I don't know, anybody here know Shapes? Anybody? Anybody know? Yay. Shapes was a home party clothing company. It eventually ended up folding, but we had lots of fun doing that. I think that's where this famous Introduce Your Elf thing came from. I think it lasted about a year and a half. Unfortunately, that's sort of where one of our differences caused some tension because she lived larger than life and I did not. But anyway, Shapes was lots of fun. We traveled, we spent lots of fun times in hotels together late into the evening. And And that was sort of that with shapes. And I won't go into where she lived and where she moved, but so this is where it gets to the hard part where I might need Kleenex. In 15 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2010. And Anita was there for me all the time. I'm good. I'll survive. It's there. She bought me a hat, which, as you can see, is well worn. And I still wear it. It's the only hat I wear. And because I'm not a effusive person in terms of complaining, I'm a writer. So I spent every night during my 6-month journey writing. And just my thoughts, just random thoughts. Anita was the only person I ever shared that with. So she became my soul. She saw more deeply into me than anybody. She was my biggest cheerleader. And I brought a prop because you won't believe this. She sent me a card every single day throughout my whole journey. She said, I will be there, and she was. And we had these cards made for the shapes, and we weren't using them anymore. And every day she sent me a card with a message. And it came in the mail with a stamp on it every day. And when she was away, I think she asked Rebecca to post them or something along the lines, or Amanda. But they came every day. And that was quite moving. So she was my biggest cheerleader. She also said to me that seeing you go through having cancer made me less afraid. Even back then, she said, I'm not afraid now if I ever get cancer, because I know you did it, and I can too. So that was sort of prophetic, to say the least. Of course, there are some things that I have to be honest about too. Like all relationships, and I don't know the chronology, I think this was after I had cancer. Like all relationships, we had our ups and downs. And we had a big spat about something, and it's an important one. And we actually unfriended each other, just like girls do, and didn't sort of connect for a while. And then, of course, Daryl tragically died, and I think one of the girls phoned and told me, and I said, of course I would be there. It wasn't any question, because at the end of the day, good friends come through for each other in times of tragedy, right? And she was always there for me, so I was there for her. True friendships never really die. So we stayed in touch, and then she moved to BC, and the next thing I knew, she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And I never cried. I never cried when I had cancer. I was okay with it. I cried when I knew I heard Anita, and she got angry at me. She said, stop crying. We had the same philosophies about life and death, and we talked a lot. By then she was living in BC. We communicated by email, we phoned back and forth, we texted. She told me about her diagnosis constantly, what was happening. I cried because the thought of losing a friend was very difficult. And I've said it many times before, and now for reasons that will become obvious, I say it more than ever. Dying is easy, living is harder. You girls know that, right? So, I'm sorry. Sorry, Anita. I know, I'm not supposed to cry. So, when Anita was diagnosed, I sent the cards back to her. I put them in a great big box. I'm a downsizer, so the fact that I never threw these away for 15 years in and of itself says a lot, because normally I would have thrown them away. I sent every card back with a message on each one. Why do I have them again? On a final note, six months ago, my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Anita mentored him, called him, texted him, and me. Gave us tips on how to do things. Of course, she sent the white cards back. Yet another message in them, this time for George. I'll leave them here. Less than a week before she died, the last thing she said to George and I was, stay strong. Don't cry, just stay strong. That is physically all I can say now, so I'm sorry. Don't want to bring it down, but she's a kind soul. Thank you.
Thank you. A testament to Anita, for sure, and to your bond. Thank you. We're going to ask Pat to come up next. Share her memories.
Sorry about that. Oh, God bless you, Judy. So I'm Pat. Happy birthday, Anita. So today we celebrate the life of our dear Anita, a woman who brought so much laughter and love to the lives of all of us. I met Anita over 36 years ago while I was working. From the moment we connected, it was clear that we had so much in common. Our friendship quickly grew, and before long our families became close. That bond only deepened over the years through holidays, shared dinners, family events, and many spontaneous and beautiful moments in between. One of my earliest memories with Anita is her inviting our family to the pool. She even bought my daughter Laura her first bathing suit. A simple gesture that so perfectly captured her generous spirit. We later discovered purely by chance that both our families had booked vacations to Cancun at the same time, and instead of staying in our separate plans, we ended up sharing time together there, sightseeing, laughing, and creating more unforgettable memories. That was Anita. She brought people together. Whether it was a Christmas karaoke or karaoke, cookie day, which is something that Anita and I and the girls started, I guess it must be 35 years ago. Dinner parties and those legendary themed gatherings like the Toga Party, the Atlantis Party, the Black Party, Witches and Wizards, and of course her tea party. No one went untouched by her creativity, her joy, and her warmth. And she made sure everyone was included. Everyone was welcome, and everybody had a great time. Her home, no matter where it was, Markham, Thornbury, Ajax, Vancouver, always became a gathering place filled with love, laughter, and an open door. She created beautiful spaces and cultivated strong friendships in every community she lived in, as well as online with Instagram and TikTok. She had a gift for connecting with others, always with her family, her neighbors, her friends, and keeping those bonds alive no matter what. Anita loved Christmas. To say she went all out is an understatement. At one time, I'm pretty sure she had about 10 Christmas trees decorated, but they were all designer decorations. But that was Anita. She poured her heart into everything she loved. Her family meant the world to her. She would do anything for her children, Daryl, Amanda, Rebecca, and was incredibly proud of all their accomplishments. But becoming a Nana was one of her greatest joys. She adored her grandson Jackson, running Nana Camp for him when he was young, and more recently, proudly cheering on Jackson in his gymnastics triumphs. That special relationship meant everything to her. Anita was a brilliant entrepreneur, imaginative, talented, and driven. She built a successful marketing business working with major companies and celebrities. She found inspiration everywhere. And even after retiring, she never really stopped from teaching cooking classes and developing, even though she wasn't a chef, but she did it. I lost my place. Even after retiring, she never really stopped from teaching cooking classes and developing a specialty cake decorating business to crafting intricate 3D flower art pieces. She always found a way to express her creativity and to share it with others. She was fun-loving, generous, endlessly creative, and deeply kind. Anita didn't let challenges slow her down, even during her journey with cancer. She fought for several years, trying everything she could, always surrounded by love, the love of her friends and family. She left this world peacefully on her own terms, surrounded by love. To say she'll be missed doesn't begin to cover it. Anita wasn't just a friend, she was family. And although there were many times when life got busy and we might not have seen or spoken with each other for a while, it always felt like no time had passed when we did. That's the kind of connection we had. That's the kind of person she was. So today we celebrate her life. I invite you to hold on to your own memories of Anita, her laughter, her warmth, her generosity, and her spark. She gave us so much, and while we may feel the ache of her absence, we also carry the joy of having known her and her memories. Thank you, Anita, for everything. For the Julia and Martha cookie days. Our family dinners together and the amazing parties and many laughs and fun times we enjoyed. Your special napkin folding and napkin holder tricks, to name a few. For your unwavering friendship and endless love. You'll always be with us in our hearts, our memories, and the stories we continue to remember and share. We love you. Thanks.
I only knew Anita from her time on Handy and always felt pretty special with the parties that she threw, but I guess it's been a lifelong journey. She's pretty amazing with that. I seriously did. Elsa. Elsa's from Handley, and will you come up and speak?
Hello everyone, I'm Elsa. I met actually mentioned his regular customer at the wine shop. Well, that's where he always come. Knowing Anita now, I should have known then there's no such thing as a casual customer where Anita is involved. I invited her over to a graduation party at my place. She asked, "What should I bring?" I said, "A celebration cake." And boom, just like that, the cake queen of Handley was born. That was the beginning of our friendship. We hit it off instantly. The long-lost sisters from the same mother, or at least from the same bakery. She was energetic, creative, full of stories, full of sass, and somehow always had glitter on her. We took a cake decorating class together. Anita looked unimpressed but focused, like someone who already knew what she was doing. Meanwhile, I struggled to bake anything that didn't resemble a brick. After completing a painful 4 weeks of classes, I went back to work, and Anita went back to her kitchen, rolled up her sleeves, and just started creating magic. I became her glorified assistant. I cleaned up the mess and clapped at the end. Soon she was teaching others, and her students loved her. One boy even told his mom that when he grows up, he wants to marry Anita. That's how good her frosting flowers were. But cake wasn't enough for Anita. She added flower arranging to her list of talents. Most of her students came from our Handley community. All of us left happier, a little more inspired, and maybe a little bit tipsy. But that was too easy for Anita, so she raised the bar. She introduced us to the progressive dinner, you heard that before, which really meant she got us all running around houses to house while she sat back, made the best course. Then came the elaborate birthday parties, the over-the-top Christmas celebrations, complete with themes, centerpieces, decorations, drinks, and food to die for. Eventually, she decided Handley was too boring. Frankly, I blame us. And she moved to DC. But our friendship didn't fade. She texted, called, we shared gossips, and she remained my personal Google long before AI. Anytime I got stuck, I just called Anita. She had answers to everything: clothing, cooking, flowers, travel, stain removal, and where to buy the best table runner. You name it. Then recently, I had a moment. I had a question about something, and instinctively, I reached for my phone. And then I realized it will be Rebecca that will be answering the phone. But I don't mind that, Rebecca. And that hit me hard, because losing Anita so soon sucks. She wasn't just a friend, she's my dearest friend. My loudest cheerleader, my most glamorous critic, my co-conspirator in all things fabulous and slightly chaotic. She left me her recipe book, full of masterpieces. I haven't opened it yet. It gave me anxiety just thinking about it, because how I could ever make a cake like hers. But knowing Anita, she'd say, don't be silly, just start, and if it flops, frost it anyway and add sprinkles. You are my ordinary miracle. Every day with you was unexpected adventure. You never acted sick, never wanted pity. You were full of life, sometimes too full. But that was your gift. You were generous with your joy, your knowledge, and your leftovers. God must have needed a decorator, a baker, a party organizer, a firecracker, all rolled into one. So he called you home. But you always be with us in every celebration, in every slice of cake, in every laugh that goes a little too loud. So here's to you, Anita. This life of party, the heart of our circle and glitter of our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Elsa. Before we move on, wanted to share a quote from C.S. Lewis. Because grief isn't just pain, it's proof that something beautiful existed, that we were given something worth missing, proof that someone's presence mattered so much it left an emptiness in their absence, that it was worth it. I feel that quote really applies today. And thank you all for your words. I'd like to open the floor to anyone that would like to come up and share a story, share a laugh, is willing to share with us. And we completely understand if you want to speak silent now. Amanda, Rebecca.
You guys see me as one of you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you again for all coming. You'll see the common theme with everybody's speeches, including ours, so you can have a good sense of what Mom was really, really like. All right, let's do this. I lay next to her in the week leading up to her final day. Mom, I whispered quietly, are you sure you want to do this? She didn't hesitate. She looked at me with calm eyes and said, honey, let's face it, we know where this is going. From the very beginning of her cancer diagnosis, Mom was unwavering. With quiet courage and steady resolve, she made it clear that when the time came, she would choose her own ending, on her own terms, with dignity and peace, and with love surrounding her. That choice through made was not a decision made out of fear, but one born from strength, the same strength that defined her throughout her life. Today, Rebecca and I are standing here with full hearts to share the story of our mom on what would have been her 78th birthday. While we feel the deep ache of her absence, we also feel an overwhelming gratitude for the life she lived, the laughter she gave, and the love she poured so generously into everybody around her. Mom built solid foundations of friendships, many of them rooted in the joy of celebration. The friends who gathered around her at early parties, they were still showing up decades later. You all know who you are, and thank you so much for coming. Her ability to create connection wasn't just remarkable, it was lasting. These were not passing moments, they were relationships that carried her through every chapter of her life. We want to celebrate that remarkable one-of-a-kind woman she was, the mom who could make magic out of cardboard, who built joy from scratch and never did anything halfway. So when Rebecca and I sat down and thought about how to capture who Mom was, one word kept coming up: creativity. Mom's creativity showed up early, starting with Halloween. Every year, our Halloween costumes were made from scratch, and without fail, always out of cardboard. Mom swore it was the perfect solution. Creative, budget-friendly, warm, and roomy, enough to fit over a marshmallow-sized winter coat. It worked so well, she stuck with it 3 years in a row. One year, Rebecca and I were Christmas presents. The next, we were a pair of dice. But the most legendary year, that had to be when Rebecca went trick-or-treating as a Mr. Professor, fully functioning calculator, while I was the trending Rubik's Cube. To this day, Rebecca says she was raised in a box, and let's be honest, it explains a lot.
Hey. Got my step stool. Here we go. I'm big. That same creativity naturally flowed into her love for birthdays. Mom absolutely loved birthdays, especially her own. No one else was planning something. She had no problem throwing the party herself. For her, one day simply wasn't enough. The whole month of June was fair game. They had to have a theme, a perfect menu, and an activity that had a specialized guest list as well. And as you've heard today, Christmas too was an all-out production. Boxes of gifts were under the tree were non-negotiable, and every year was filled with countless traditions and a packed calendar full of parties and gatherings. But her greatest thrill, decorating that Christmas tree. She treated it like an art form, choosing themes, rearranging ornaments until they were just right, and our favorite part, she had to start planning next year's tree before the pine needles had even hit the floor. Celebrations weren't just events to Mom. They were how she showed love, and wow, did she know how to make them unforgettable. That spark of creativity grew into a long love of throwing unforgettable parties. When Mom married Bob, the two of them took it to a whole new level. Over the top became the standard. Together, they created things that were events with nothing short of magical. Think murder mysteries, togas, and the lost city of Atlantis. And of course, the witches and wizard party that became the be-all and end-all, ultimately leading to their wedding. If you were lucky enough to get an invite, you knew you were in for something special. The marriage that Mom and Bob shared was built on a genuine love, deep friendship, and true companionship. It was such an important chapter in their life, in her life, a relationship that brought joy, laughter, and a true partner in celebration. Along with that marriage came a big, beautiful extended family, as Bob had 4 brothers. Mom embraced them wholeheartedly, and in turn, they were incredibly kind in welcoming us into their fold. Thank you. For Mom, the more the merrier, and she meant it. She especially loved hosting when she and Hella took turns organizing Boxing Day festivities. Those gatherings were filled with food, stories, and the kind of warmth that only family can bring. To this day, Boxing Day has always felt like a Strollenberg Christmas to us.
A tradition will always hold dear. She later took an interest in cooking, enrolling in a series of cooking classes that soon led her to hosting elaborate dinner parties. What began as a simple love for preparing meals quickly extended to setting the table, something that evolved into a full-blown passion for tablescaping. For Mom, aside from the company, that was always the most fun part of any gathering. But there were also those hidden talents, things she never bragged about but quietly mastered. One day, when I was a teenager, I told Mom, I want a cable knit sweater. She looked at me and said, I can make that for you. Some time went by, and like most teenagers, I completely forgot I had asked. Then Christmas came. I opened a box, and there it was, the sweater. I was so thrilled. Rebecca, of course, wanted one too. What we didn't know was that while Mom knew how to knit, she hadn't done it in such a long time, and apparently it was a massive amount of work. So she made a rule. If one of you isn't wearing it during the day, the other one better hell be sleeping in it at night. Let's just say it was a while before Rebecca got hers. Hard being the youngest. That sweater was more than just a gift. It was a quiet symbol of how Mom loved. She didn't do things halfway. If she took something on, she gave it her whole heart. More than anything, though, Mom loved bringing people together. Her sense of family extended far beyond just blood. If you were at her house, you were staying for dinner. No question asked. When our brother Daryl was a teenager, you never knew just how many kids would be climbing up that stairs each weekend. Everyone was welcome, and no one was left out.
One day, Daryl came home and he said his friend Lorna had been kicked out of her home. Without hesitation, Mom welcomed her in, loved her like one of her own, and she stayed until she left for university. That's who Mom was. In her arms, her heart, and her home were always open. Life changes often called on Mom to reinvent herself again and again. Whether it was starting over in a new city, navigating unexpected challenges, or shifting into new roles, she always adapted with grace and creativity. For every door that closed, she found another one to open. Her resilience wasn't loud or showy. It was steady, grounded, and deeply inspiring. She met each season of her life with open arms and determination to keep moving forward.
As her life in Barrie came to a close, she reinvented herself again, just in time, because we needed her. She became a grandmother, and with that, Nana was born. She moved to Hanley Crescent to be closer to myself, John, and Jackson, and what a beautiful tribe of people she surrounded herself with. Many days were spent in the backyard, neighbors gathered around, sharing stories, and a glass of vino, or two, or three, or four. As Jackson grew up, Nana became an integral part of her life. She showed him how important it was to be in the kitchen, and that's where his love of bacon began. The two of them stirred and sifted and laughed their way through recipes, creating memories we'll always cherish. Then there was Nana Camp, all fun and games, including sliding down the stairs on a piece of cardboard, much to my surprise, I should add, and leave it to Mom to find one more use for a cardboard box. But in 2016, after the heartbreaking loss of Daryl, life shifted. Ajax, once a place of growth and celebration, held too many memories. Too much absence, she knew she needed a fresh start. So she moved west to be closer to Rebecca and begin a new chapter. And as always, she found her way into the hearts of the people around her. Moving into her new building, she instantly made friends with neighbors, who soon became another hand-picked, curated group of companions. The gift she had for creating community never faded. This chapter brought something new too. TikTok. Yes, Mom on TikTok. It was Jackson who first introduced her to it, probably thinking it was just for laughs. But of course, she took it and made it her own. She began filming herself baking cupcakes, decorated cakes, sharing her creations and sweet moments with the world. It was charming, joyful, and pure her. Even online, she was building connections, making people smile, and doing what she'd always done, spreading warmth with a side of buttercream. Her following quickly grew to 602,000 people.
When COVID hit, Mom wanted to find a way to bring the community together, so she created the Cupcake Rock. She would hide a painted rock somewhere in the neighborhood, and families would head out on hunts to find it. If you found the rock, you could trade it in for a 4-pack of her cupcakes. It was simple, sweet, and full of joy. We've since learned how much it meant to so many families in Queensborough. Having Mom so close to me, Mom and I could see each other so frequently, and catching up on the many years that had passed between us. And the Glasshouse ladies soon became a powerful presence in her life. These women rallied around her, especially when she got sick. Their support was steady, fierce, and full of love, and Mom cherished them deeply.
Even with cancer, Mom took it head on. She never said, why me? And instead she said, why not me? She used her platform for good to raise awareness, to bridge the gaps left behind the healthcare system and those important details the hospitals and doctors often forgot to tell you. She joined the BC Cancer Podcast panel, shaved her head live on TikTok, and spoke openly and honestly about her journey. She challenged people to try and change their mindset. Chemotherapy didn't have to be scary, and it didn't have to be called the red devil. Why not call it the pink martini? After all, it was the new cocktail that was helping me get better. As we touched on in the beginning, she was strong, so strong, right until the very end. In choosing Mage, she embraced her final chapter with the dignity, clarity, and deep love. True to who she was, she faced it with unwavering resolve, fierce courage, and on her own terms. We are going to miss her so much. Her laughter, her sparkle, her stories,
her stubbornness, her creativity, and her limitless compassion. We loved her more than words can say, and we always will.
And let's be honest, life's gonna be a little bit less fabulous without her. Fewer rhinestones, fewer over-the-top party themes, definitely fewer cupcakes. We'll hear her voice in our heads at every birthday.
So, what are we doing this year for my birthday?
We'll see her in her perfectly set table in the glitter that mysteriously appears on everything and in every outrageous idea that starts with,
you know, what would be fun?
She may have left the party early, but she made sure we knew how to keep it going. And trust us, she'll still be watching to make sure we do. Thank you.
She'll be watching.
That's right. Okay, well, we're going to do the video, and then we're going to get Jackson afterwards to take up actually, Hun, wait a sec, let's just do the quick, do you want to take this up now? No? No? Okay.